10-4, good buddy. Today we talk to country singer Erik Shicotte about trains, trucks, and blizzards, and his new EP, Misery Pacific. Erik's home in Wisconsin, itching to hit the road.
What more is a man than the dirt from whence he came, and the shirt upon his back with the echoes of his name? All the things he's said and done while he has pondered sin and fame, and the little things in the go-betweens and the flame that steals the flame.
So you've got an EP coming out on the 16th, which is...
I certainly do.
Well, it's tomorrow here, because today is the 15th already.
It's tomorrow and a half here by now.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
And you're on Shooter Jennings' label?
I am. We are on Black Country Rock.
That's pretty cool. How'd that happen?
My management team, they have they have some prior experience with a couple other groups, and
right.
My it's made up of Brett DiMattia and Ash Sider, and he knows Shooter's guys, and he knows Shooter, and we were prepared to self-release this thing under just create a label to get it out there, whatever. But at the 13th hour,
right,
Ash just decided to text his buddy at BCR, and somehow it all worked out. I mean,
really?
we already had the record made, and it was ready. Everything was pretty much at fruition. It
right.
just needed to get out, and so we got a distribution deal with BCR, which is
right.
Why not? I mean, I got a Whalen tattoo, so if that says anything, I'm very flattered to have Jennings' blood on my stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely crazy to me.
Maybe that's a thing that they should have at the label. You have to have a Jennings tattoo in order to be signed.
Well, I'll talk to Shooter about that and see what he thinks.
Talk to him. Yeah. So the album is called Misery
Pacific.
Misery Pacific. Okay. And
it's slang for Missouri.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Misery. That's it. Now I got it. All right.
Yep. Yeah. Misery.
You're going to confuse a lot of people overseas with that, but I understand now. Yeah. And that's the railroad, right?
Gonna leave me here behind. I guess I'll write another line with that big white diesel. I'm in this here song. Keep it rocking and a swaying, moving and a shaking. Freight train, get me gone. Yeah, it was. It's now in the conglomerate that is Union Pacific through mergers and takeovers and all sorts of stuff that happened before I was alive, mostly, but. It was a cool old road. Yeah.
So I assume that the railroad has some kind of connection to you. You have some kind of romanticized vision of what the railroad should be like or is like.
Something like that. I mean, I don't work for the railroad. A lot of my good friends do work for the railroads, but it's not so much what I think it should be. The song itself is based on kind of like a daydream of mine when I hark back to things I was never even there for.
Right.
through the images and videos and stories I hear from my old head friends that were there when railroading was way more cowboy than it is now. Cause we've come up with a lot more safe procedures, but, the work doesn't always get done as fast, so it's just a visit to a place that I've imagined. Basically, I'm hopping a train that I was born too late to get on.
That's a great quote. I love it.
But the Missouri Pacific was one of the roads that I thought would be, it's always one I thought was very cool because there were so many railroads that had Pacific at the end of their name because they all intended to go to the West Coast, and like 3 of them made it.
They ran into the Rockies, no doubt.
But the Missouri Pacific was a very cool one. And, that song is for people like me. We're not so affectionately known by professional railroaders as foamers.
All right.
We like trains, but we don't always work for the railroad. And I, for one, go out and take pictures of freight trains all across the country just as a hobby. But this is one that means, that to me. It's the tales I heard from that community, and it's kind of for those guys. And it's, you you can never have too many Train songs anyway. So
apparently not. Just ask Johnny Cash.
Yeah. If only.
There you go. Yeah. So, what the songs that make up the EP? When were they written and recorded?
They were all written over the past. I think the most recent one is about 1.5 years old now. So finished about 5-6 months before we started recording.
Yep.
But most of them are a little older. 2 of them are actually from a previous attempt that I had made with my buddy in his living room.
Right.
And
what happened there?
Well, we didn't have the equipment to really make a studio quality record, but we had a blast. We had a good time, and it was good, a good start.
Good
to
warm
really
up.
toy with my music, and then at the urging of my manager Britt, we re-recorded 2 of those songs and picked another 4 from my catalog, whatever you want to call it, because I've got probably 20 to 30 more of them just sitting there that I'm trying to flesh out in my head a little bit. I'm like, I wonder what this will sound like, Joe. But yeah, these were all written prior, and we're selected by myself or my manager.
So Britt and Ash produced the record. Is that correct?
They did indeed. This one was home baked.
Yeah, home baked. And so producing means different things. It could mean anything. You could be Andrew Lou Goldman sitting there reading a paper while Mick and Keith are doing their thing, or you could be Phil Spector and adding everything in the kitchen sink. Yeah. So what was their?
They gave me free reign, like
right.
They trust my vision, I guess, and we ran from there.
Gotcha. And you have quite a few players on the record. So
yes, we do.
So you got fiddle and pedal steel and harmonica and percussion.
We got a bunch of fantastic cats out in Nashville.
Right.
Some of them, a couple of them dudes were, they played with Coulter Wall. So they were, they're all good and established.
Yep.
And some of them deep into this revival or whatever this vein that is popping up happens to be.
Yep.
But it was an honor to have these people playing, because when we started recording this, I was on a job in Portland, Oregon during the middle of a pandemic,
right?
And they were in Nashville,
right?
And we're sending files back and forth, and I'm lacking the experience and the vocabulary. I was trying to say, like, this is what I hear in my head to them as they were getting ready to track, because they recorded to just scratch tracks that I put on my phone. I just played to a click and, went from there. And Aaron Goodrich, who did percussion, really just organized this whole thing into a sound that they created something I'd only heard in my head. And we didn't even, it's different when you can be in studio and look at the other musicians as you're playing with a live session, or, at least all together while you're doing separate tracks. But for them to just give me the space to do my things and also, provide such just tasteful and poignant additions to what I had in my head was mind-blowing, crazy experience. It's a blast.
Sounds like you're having fun.
I am. Anything that keeps me off the job site is fun for me.
So what is your normal job? If I can put it that way.
I am an iron worker.
Oh my God.
As a man in the trades, you're very susceptible to doing stuff like this.
You're going from iron worker to Iron Man, it looks like.
Something like it. Well, the worst part is I have big iron tattooed on my stupid knuckles. To piggyback off of all of that, for God's sake, I thought it would be a funny idea, but now it's really.
I'm sure it was at the moment.
Yeah, it's coming back to haunt me. But regularly I'm a construction worker, and the company I work for, we build fire training towers all across the United States.
Gotcha. So,
but I'm off for a moment.
Oh yeah. Well, whatever pays the bills,
Yeah. Well, hopefully music will someday.
It'll be, I mean, it's got to be kind of odd being in the music business, especially entering it at this time, because nobody knows what's going on as far as that goes, do they?
Well,
and you got to play out. You got to just gig, and
the game is changing in front of us. a wild time because most of these places up here are just coming back to having live music. And just, you know, a lot of them, it seems like they're fulfilling contracts that they had last year, like artists that were booked, they're coming this year to play, to fulfill old contracts or, you know, another shot at playing said show or whatever. So some places aren't even open. Some places are booked full through the rest of the year. It's just a wild frontier out there right now.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Now, getting back to the EP, I wanted to talk about at least a couple more songs. Niners is interesting. It's from what I understand, it's a homage to blizzards and booze.
My neck hair did bristle, but the wind finally whistled the last of her fury down on the hot spring. And I spied me a tavern, sat down in the basin. I figured my nerves were in need of a drink. Kind of. That's one of the songs that roused itself from the annals of my work and my travel. Therefore, that's a song about surviving a winter on a job site in Wyoming, basically. But yeah, Niners is a goofy track.
I gotta imagine that the winters in Wyoming are pretty rough.
I mean, they're strange because one day I don't think I can do the Celsius conversion since you're all the way
Don't
down
worry
there,
about it.
We had, like, there were a couple of days in the middle of winter that was like 60, 65, but in October it was -8.
Right.
I mean, I know our seasons are flipped, but just it's weird. There's not much to keep the heat in out there. There's it's just open territory for long, vast stretches, and the weather out there can get wild. We got hailed on, we got snowed on, we had like 70-mile-an-hour winds, we had blizzards, and then we'd have sunny days and it would melt and the job site was an absolute mud pile. I sank so many machines in there trying to get around the tower. Good God, we'd have to get the skid loader, you know, chain them all up and pull my silly butt out. But
there you go.
So
that's something to write about, really, at
least. Right? You have to. That's, you know, the way I write is the songs have to come out of me. I don't try and force them. I know my writing style will probably ebb and flow and change as I go. But, you know, at this point, that one just presented itself at room 104 of the Days Inn in Thermopolis, Wyoming. It was a song.
Thermopolis.
Hi, I'm here. Sing me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Thermopolis. They've got some hot springs and, you know, because there's Yellowstone is in Wyoming as well. There's some geothermal. You guys have some really cool geothermal features down there.
We got the hot springs all over the place. Very cool.
I very much look forward to the day that I can get down there because I actually have a friend that works for Kiwi Rail.
Okay. Yep.
So got to come see him and check out all the sights and sounds and tastes and.
Yep, we got hot on the beaches. There's like hot stuff coming up, and then right in the middle of the country.
So cool.
It's all over the place. It's very cool. Yeah. Anyway, and so you do have to come now. And one other tune I wanted to touch on is "Die Like a Man," which is the kind of closer on the EP.
I can sleep when I'm dead. That's what I've always said. Guess I'm fixing to go real soon. Lest I get my ass to bed. Oh, that's the plan. Gonna die like a man. Yes. What would
kind of a bouncy, friendly tune, except for it's all about death.
Well, that's one of the things I've always appreciated about country music, and especially, you know, looking back further than probably the 90s.
Right.
Is a lot of it is very joyful sounding music, but it's not about joyful things. Yeah. It's how, you know, people without means dealt at one point in time. Yep. And that song is merely a reflection on some of my self-sabotage and, you know, elements of masculinity as it relates to me, and how most of the stuff we do is just dumb and is probably going to kill us.
Right.
But it's my way of making sure, I keep myself in check.
Gotcha. Yeah,
to a degree. But, fun little beat. And it's only a 3-chord song.
Nice pedal steel on it, though.
Oh, yeah. That's who I can't remember.
Patrick Lyons?
It might have been Pat, but it might have been Eddie Dunlop too, because he did pedal on some of. They both played on some songs. I think Pat was on most of them, either on pedal or electric. But but I can't remember who played on that. But lots of little honky tonky riffs floating around in that one.
That's a good one.
I remember getting that rough back from Aaron in Nashville and being like, "Oh my God, this is beautiful! I love this."
And your voice itself is pretty. Your voice is something to be admired.
Thank you.
Well, no, it is. I mean,
it's weird. It doesn't really fit me and especially before I could grow a beard and a mustache. Like,
I see.
I'd be at the gas station trying to buy cigarettes with a little naked baby face, and then I'd say something, and they'd be like, "Wait a second.
Yeah.
What is that? Is this a man? Is this a child? We don't know."
Well, it seems to be working for you now.
I've heard enough about it long enough. I'm glad I finally did something with it and about it.
Very cool. Very cool. So what's the plan? The record's coming out on Friday. And then what happens?
Then I wait for them to take the pins out of my hand.
Yep.
And after that, hopefully we'll get to supporting it a little. And I know we've got at least one date for sure in Nashville in September, which I should be good to go for.
Yep.
We're playing with Mike and the Moon Pies, which should be a good time. They're a good group.
Yeah.
And after that, we're going to try and shore that up with other shows around it.
Right.
I don't know if it'll be with Mike or if it'll be just me. But more shows, and then hopefully, by next year or the year after, if I haven't gotten to it already, I'd be very keen on doing an LP.
Sounds like you need one. Yep. You got the songs,
Before
right?
I write too many more songs and I forget about the other ones.
Right, that's going to happen. Very good. Well, you should come down here if you get a chance.
I would
check out the hot springs.
Be absolutely elated.
I'm sure we would be too. So there you go.
Right on.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to me. I really appreciate it. It's been fun.
Thanks for taking time to talk to me, Marty. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Take care.